Very good morning, children. Welcome to biology class. The last class we started the diversity in living organisms. That will go for the continuation to that particular topic. You learn that the classification which is given by Aristotle is an ambiguous. What is the word ambiguous explains here? It is a bit tough to understand and tough to easily to learn it. Okay, just let me say that how he discovered and how complicated this. Okay, he classified the organisms, all the living organisms into two groups, invertebrates and vertebrates. Okay, so invertebrates again divided into 9 kingdoms with the 9 different characteristic features, and vertebrates again divided into the 5 kingdoms. Okay, the class 8th when I'm discussing about this IC classes, I said about all these things. Invertebrates starts with the poriferans, protozoans, coelentrates, platyhelminthes, nematihelminthes, echinodermata, arthropoda, annelids, like that. Nearly 9 phylums. Whereas coming to the vertebrates again further grouped into the 5 kingdoms: pisces, amphibians, reptiles, aves, and then mammals. Okay, as it is a bit the tough to remember, and so the biologists, they did then further classification, and then the topic is called as an hierarchy classification. In today's class, let me explain about what is this hierarchy classification. Explain who did this hierarchy classification. So hierarchy classification was explained by the biologists. They named as the Ernest Haeckel, and the second man is Carl Woese, and the third one is Robert Whittaker. Okay, yes, let me say that the biologist named as first man is Ernest Haeckel in an year 1894, and he explained about the classification. I hope children you remember what is called as a classification. Classification is nothing but identifying the living organisms and group them and name them, and by keeping it in a particular place, it is called as a classification. Okay, yes. So this Ernest Haeckel in 1894, and he discovered the better classification after the Aristotle. Okay, the next one is Robert Whittaker. He did this work in the year 1959, and the last man is Carl Woese. He did these studies in the 1977. Okay, yes. So these out of these three scientists, at present, the whose classification we are following. We, in the sense that the biologists who are the following is nothing but the Whittaker's classification. Okay, out of these three, present we are following the Whittaker's classification. This is done in the year 1959. So he divided the entire living organisms, all the living organisms, into 5 kingdoms. How many kingdoms, children? 5 kingdoms. What are those 5 kingdoms means? The first one is monerans. Okay, second is protista, and the third one is fungi or fungi or fungus, singular and plural we can say, and the next one is plantae and an animalia. Let me repeat that. According to Whittaker's classification, all the living organisms are classified into 5 kingdoms. The first kingdom is monerans, and the second kingdom is protista, and the third kingdom is fungi, and the fourth kingdom is a plantae, and the fifth one is an animalia. Okay, yes. How they did this classification? How they did the classification means, I already said that point. They did the classification by seeing their cell structure, how the cell it is, whether the cell has cell wall or not, whether the cell inside the cell, if there is a nucleus or not, if there is a protein, all the organelles they observed. They observe the cell structure, how it is. And the next point, they consider it as a mode of source of the food. Okay, mode and source of nutrition. In how they will take. Are they grazing animals? Are they just depriving them energy from the dead bodies? Are they prepare the food themselves? Or they can depend on the other animals. So all these characteristic features comes under the mode and source of the nutrition they absorb. Even I said that how they locomote, how they move also. Are they creeping animals, swimming animals? Are they just bipedal walking animals? Are they flying? So like that they consider the cell structure, and they see the mode of nutrition, and they see the locomotion process, and even the respiration, and even reproduction too. And not only that, body organization, how the body is made up of it. Okay, is the body is made up of with a single cell. So obviously they will keep it in the unicellular organisms. If the body is made up of with the many cells, multicellular organisms, they kept in an multicellular. If they lay the eggs, okay, and they place it in an oviparous organisms. If they give the birth directly to the young ones, and this we call them as an viviparous. If there is a nucleus, eukaryotes. If there is no nucleus, prokaryotes. So like that, if there is a neck, chordates. No, if there is no neck, non-chordates. In case if there is a backbone, vertebrates. If there is no backbone, invertebrates. So like that, various areas, the detailed study, various areas they observed, and they place them in a different groups. Of course, it is a tough, but by the studying and observation and the grouping and identifying the organisms and naming the organisms is nothing but we'll call it as the classification. That classification was given by the Whittaker and then year 1959. Okay, till today we are following this Whittaker's classification only. Okay, as Whittaker classified all the organisms into 5 groups. So you have to study, children, one group and what are the characteristic features, why they placed it in that particular group, and we have to study 1 or 2 diagrams also given for this particular topics that we are going to study now. Okay, yes. So now after this man Whittaker classification, his friend Carl Woese did some modifications in monirans. So he simply said that a group of monirans, and what are that, why they kept that, we'll study later. So modification which is given by the Carl Woese is related to monirans. One is an archaebacteria and the second one is an eubacteria. He divided the monirans into archaebacteria. Archae-type, a group of organisms will come, I'll show those pictures, and bacteria will come under the, mostly under the monirans. Okay, yes. So after they did this particular classification, they arranged all the animals in different classes and different groups and different kingdoms, and they given the terminology for that is a classification. Naming of subgroups to the living organisms, it comes under the classification. When you see the hierarchy classification, whenever you are studying either the plant or the animal, and you have to observe their characteristic features, you have to consider all this, the 6 the characteristic features. The first one is kingdom. Either which kingdom they come. So broadly the classification of the living organisms, you know that plants and animals. Okay, leave about the human beings. We are not studying right now. Okay, the broadly and living organisms are classified into plant kingdom and an animal kingdom. So when you see the plants, and you have to write it belongs to plant kingdom. If it is an animal, you have to write the animal kingdom. Okay, yes, while you are doing the practicals and for the classification they will set a marks. You have to draw the diagram, you have to label the points, you have to write all the characteristic feature. At the top of the corner we have to write the classification. Okay, so by seeing that particular, all these 6 marks, they will avoid 3 or 2 marks like that. Yes, so whereas coming to the classification, it begins with the kingdom. So after the kingdom, it comes the phylum. In case if it is an animal, and we have to say the phylum. Phylum Protozoa, phylum Platyhelminthes, phylum Coelenterata, phylum Molluscans. Like that we have to say. In case if it is a plant structure, after the kingdom you have to write the division. Which division it comes. Okay, yes. So that is the second classification. Of course, children, they did not give a very clear explanation about how you will consider and how you keep it in. For your standard, this it will be enough. Okay, yes. In the +1, we will study very detail about all these things. Why the name under the class, what type of organisms you have to keep it, in what basis you have to keep it, and what are the internally structure they'll observe, anatomy they'll observe, and they place it in the groups. Okay, yes. So to avoid your confusion, just you learn like this, it is enough. So the living organisms are classified into the plant and animal. If it is a plant, plant kingdom. If it is an animal, you have to write as an animal kingdom. So if it is a plant, you have to write it as a division. In case if it is an animal, you have to write the phylum. After the phylum, you have to go for the class. After the class, order, family, genus and species. Okay, while I am explaining about the introduction to this particular topic, I given how you have to follow the classification. For example, at home, your head of the home, your grandparents, and then your father. Then it comes to your brother. Father, mother, mother to elder brother, younger brother, next younger, like that. So this is an order. If you come to a school, just once again I'll recollect for you. If you come to a Gfsi international school, first goes to chairman. So chairman sir. Next comes to the directors. Next comes to principal. The next comes to the teachers. Okay, sub-staff, security. So it's an order, hierarchical order we can say. We have to follow that hierarchical order. Exactly like this, this is also called as a hierarchical order. Hierarchical order starts from the kingdom, goes to the phylum, and next comes class and order, and next comes family, genus and the species. In a hierarchical classification, which one is the last means you have to write about the species. Which one is at the top of the classification, and you have to write about the kingdom. Okay children, that is regarding the classification. Yes. So based on this particular classification and based on this particular the futures and the organisms, they divided into 5 groups, and the first group is an monidans. Okay. Yes. So let me explain actually what are these monidans, how these monidans, in what basis they kept in this monidans. Excuse me children, the monidans, they do not have nucleus. They do not have any nucleus, or even they do not have any organelles. So immediately you can say that they are prokaryotes. Yes. But some of the monidans, they have, just here it is given, they have the autotrophic nutrition they will show. That means we have to place them in the plant kingdom. Some of the monidans, just I written here, they are heterotrophic. So will they come under the animal group? And they will come under the prokaryotic group. So of course there is no prokaryotism. But will they come under the bacteria? No. So they placed it in a special group. They named it as a special group. That particular group is called as a monidans. So monidans, some of the monidans they do not. Some they used in a textbook. Some of the monidans they do not have the nucleus, and even they do not have any organelles. Okay. Yes. Some monidans, they have no multicellular body design. That means we cannot compare them just like compare it with the multicellular body structure. That means their body structures are so simple. It's not a complicated body design. Simple body design they have. Okay. So some of the monidans, no multicellular body designs. Okay. Yes. Some monidans, either they may have tough rigid cell wall and they may not have cell wall. Okay. Yes. The next, some monidans, they are autotrophic in nature. Autotrophic means what they will do? They can synthesize their own food. At the same time, they supply the food for the others also. Under this autotrophic organisms of the monidans, the blue-green algae is an example, and diatoms are an example, and non-stock is also an example it comes. So what this, for example, if you come to the diatoms, there will be floating patches on the sea. They can synthesize their own food, and even they supply the food for the others also. That's the reason they given floating patches. They are the floating patches of the sea, and so they come under the blue-green algae or anabina, or we can say that is a cyanobacteria, we can say. Okay, yes. So, and they have the rigid, tough cell wall. And some monidans, they will be autotrophic in nature. Even some monidans, they are heterotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic means what? If they cannot synthesize their own food, and they will be stay in, they depend on the others. If you come to the other point, even some monidans, they are even symbiotic in nature also. Symbiotic. So what is this symbiotic nature? Symbiotic means you already studied in the before class topics. Symbiotic nutrition occur in between two different organisms. Okay, where the algae and fungi live together, there is a group of organisms, they are called as a lichens will grow there. Okay, yes. So in the same way, in the class 7th and 8th, you studied about the symbiotic nutrition example. The bean family plant root nodules, a group of bacteria will grow, and the bean family is a plant structure. It is a microorganism, it is a plant structure. Even the two different organisms, these two are different organisms, both will get benefit, and some monidans they may exhibit symbiotic nutrition too. Okay, yes. So, and examples, best example for this monidan is blue-green algae, or we can also call it as a cyanobacteria, we can say. Okay, yes. So, whereas coming to the examples, what we are going to study in this monidan group means, the two examples are given, one is bacteria and the second one is an anabina. Okay, the first lesson of this class 9th you studied, you draw the structure of the plant cell, animal cell and even the bacteria cell. The bacteria has the tough rigid cell that is called as a capsule, we can say that. This one, it has a tough cell wall. So, while you are drawing also out of the cell wall, it should be a little bit tough in nature. Okay, just let me show the picture, then you will get an idea. It has a tough capsule, and inside that particular capsule, and we can see, can you see the organelles, children? No, we cannot see any organelles. I given already that point. They do not have nucleus, and as well as they do not have any cell organelles. Okay, but whereas coming to this, yes, see the outer layer, just like as a tough, it is there. It is a rigid, tough cell wall, or we can say it's a capsule. And inside this particular tough, there is a blue color structure that it will be called as a plasma membrane. We can say that. Okay, the cell wall is the tough, children. This is cell wall. Okay, just like as the capsule rigid cell wall. Okay, just I labeled here, this one is the cell wall. So inside this cell wall, what is there? And there will be the another structure. This one we'll call it as plasma membrane. Okay, they have the tough cell wall, and inside the tough cell wall there is the plasma membrane. Okay, yes. So, what's coming to the inside this plasma membrane, can you see the nucleus? No, we cannot see the nucleus. Nucleoid is there. What is the word nucleoid explained here? Uncleared nucleus layer only we'll see. Okay, not uncleared nucleus we cannot see. Nucleoid it will be present here. Inside this nucleus, and we will find this ribose nucleic acids. DNA, the RNA is there. Ribose nucleic acid, it will be present, and it has a set of ribosomes, and obviously ribosomes are helpful for synthesis of the protein molecules. Okay, yes. So let me explain about what are these small structures. The small hair-like structures we'll see, and these hairs we'll call it as a pili. Okay, different forms of bacteria, I think in class 8 you studied. They may be spiral in nature, and they like as a comma shaped bacteria. Okay, horseshoe bacteria, cocci bacteria is a circular or the round. Some bacteria they have this type of structures, small flagellae. Okay, like this we can see. These are called pili. What is the word explain pili is means? It is just like act like a hook. Whenever the bacteria is there in the moist places, moist conditions, if for example on the rock if these bacteria grow, and with the help of this hook, with the help of pili, and it will be attached to the substrate. Along with that, and flagella has the bacteria has a long thread-like structures, and these long threads we'll call it as a flagella. So, with the help of the flagella, the locomotion it will be takes place. Whenever the conditions are not favorable, I said no, this bacteria will not come out inside this tough outer coat. They form an outer coat, tough coat, and they will stay inside, and during the favorable conditions, and it will comes out, and it will be maintained 6 and raised by the different processes. Okay, the bacteria produces 6 young ones by the fission process, binary fission. Okay, yes, children, that is about the first example related to bacteria. The second one is Anabina. Whereas coming to this one, Anabina is just like a green algae, and it is blue. Anabina also comes under the monidans, as it's green in nature, and we can say that they shows them obviously the autotrophic nutrition. Some of the bacteria, I said no, Anabina cells. See how these Anabina cells are there. Okay, so it is a green colored Anabina, blue-green algae. Okay, inside this Anabina, and we are seeing they have the resting spores. The spores, it will be in the resting condition, children. Okay, yes. So if you look your textbook also, we can see this particular diagram. Not only this spores, due to the spores, what will happen? They maintain their base. If you come to the down part, the cell has an empty. And otherwise we can say that this particular area has an special processing cells. They are called as heterocyst. Okay, in the matter they did not explain anything regarding this, but in the diagram they mention about heterocyst. What is this heterocyst? He explains. What is the use of this heterocyst in Anabina? Especially heterocysts have the capacity. The cells which are present in that cyst means just like as one round or the ball shape like structure. Inside the cyst, the cells have the capacity to trap this nitrogen. Nitrogen fixation cells are present in the heterocyst cells. Or we can also say that they are nitrogen savers, we can say. So these cells, what they will do, they save the nitrogen. So that is called as nothing but nitrifying. So nitrifying the bacteria, and nitrogen fixation process, it will be done with the help of this heterocyst cells. So that's all, children, that is about an Anabina. You have to draw these two diagrams and you have to label the parts. Children, I will complete maybe for each class, maybe the 2 phylums I can complete, and this 2 phylums, what you have to do means, in the running note part, whatever I am sending the key points, immediately you have to write those key points, and the same day itself you have to draw the diagrams. Don't give the complaint that many diagrams are there. Same day I'll go for, I am very clear, I am saying I can finish only two groups, that's it. The 2 group diagrams, if you complete it the same day itself, it is not a pending for you. And in the same way, it is not a boring also. And you can learn very clear also. See, these 2 diagrams, very simple, you can draw. So Anabina, we learned the new word today, that is called as a heterocyst cell, that is nothing but nitrogen saver cells. And so in the bacteria you learn in the class 7th, 8th you did not study the word pili, and there's a tough word capsule also you did not learn. Okay, messenger RNA, ribosomes are also present inside this. Okay, these are some of the new topics what you learn in this class 9. Okay, children, that's all for today. Let me review fast and what you learned today's class. Okay, today class I explained about the hierarchical classification that which will be done by 3 scientists, great biologists, and the first man is who is that? Ernest Haeckel in the year 1894, and the next one is Robert Whittaker in 1959, and the next one is Carl Woese in the 1979. These 3 did the classification, but right now we are following the Whittaker's classification that was done in the year 1959. In what basis he did the classification means based on cell structure, and the second one is based on the nutrition, and based on reproduction, respiration, so on. By observing all these things, and they divided the whole kingdom, otherwise all the living organisms, into 5 groups. The first one is what, children? First one is monidans, second is protista, third one is what? Third one is fungi, and fourth one is a plantae, that is nothing but plant kingdom you have to study, and the last one is an animalia, and at animalia you have to study all the animal groups. Okay, yes. According to this Whittaker classification, and the other scientist named as Carl Woos did a little modification, and he said that Monera has further divided into Archaebacteria group and an Eubacteria, and all the bacteria placed within this particular group. So the later I explained about classification. The classification is nothing but the kingdom, phylum, and class, order, family, genus, and the species. And we studied about the monerans and what are the characteristics of monerans I explained, and I explained about the diagrams of bacteria and anabae. So children, that's all for today, and stay safe at home. Once again, we'll meet you in the next class. Until then, bye.